Well, we're so excited on this edition of the Morning Kick to have Petra Zink from the 360 Talent Co join us. Now, you can imagine right now, right across Australia, in fact, right around the world, people are dealing with companies, staffing and employment issues and trying to work out what does the future hold. They're planning for right now. How do I take care of the roles that I have? How do I deal with my business having a downturn if I'm in event management or hospitality? And what happens in 3 months and 6 months' time? How do I bring people back on? You can imagine the planning going on behind the scenes in companies like Qantas and other airlines. Well, this morning it's a privilege to have Petra on the show. Petra, thank you very much for joining us. It's great to have somebody with your innovation and experience to have a talk about the future of work. And this is your sweet spot. This is your subject. Tell us how you got involved in recruitment. And there's been a bit of a transition that happened when you started the 360 Talent Co.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks so much for having me on your show. I'm super excited to share my story because what is happening now to so many people happened to me in 2014. So I didn't get into recruitment because of a career choice. And I also am actually not much in recruitment anymore either. So since my early days, lots has happened because I was disrupted. I was disrupted in 2014, again, not by a choice. I always thought marketing is my sweet spot, and I always want to do FMCG marketing, which is a very specific niche in marketing. And I progressed in that career fairly quickly. 10 years in, found myself in a spot where I didn't get a promotion that I thought I would get, but I got put on a PIP, on a performance improvement plan. And this totally turned my world upside down. I just questioned myself if I was good enough for marketing, if I just wasted all my education because I've got a master's in marketing. My network is in the marketing field. I thought it was just waste of time now because clearly I'm not good enough to play in that field. So long story short, I had to do something different. And I met a recruiter and she asked me if I was interested in recruitment. And after initial hesitation, I thought, no thanks. And then I thought, well, actually, yes, it's probably not a bad thing because, back at that time, social media and digital marketing became a thing. But because I progressed so quickly in my strategic marketing roles, I was never hands-on in digital marketing and social media. And I didn't know what SEO even means. So I literally Googled what is SEO back in the days. But you know what? I progressed very quickly in the recruitment field because I could be me again. I could, work with people on finding their sweet spot, on creating careers for them. And what I also realized, because I was specialized in digital and technology space, is was people could not sell themselves for, their lives. They are so smart, but you can't communicate what they are all about. So they were missing out on amazing job opportunities, on pay rises, on the promotions. And I thought this is not fair. How can I help them to stand up for all the right reasons and get chosen? I thought if I just take my branding and marketing background and apply it to people, maybe it works. And I've tried and tested with over 300 people throughout the time, and I found a process that makes people stand out for all the right reasons. And this is also the same process that I went through to build my personal brand. So this is how I got into what I'm doing now.
Isn't it amazing? We talk for probably the last 5 years, we've been saying the roles or careers that we've been training for at school or university are not the roles that are going to be available, when we leave university or in 5 years' time. Talk to us about the future of work. What do you think it was like before COVID-19? And have you got any ideas about what it might look like after COVID-19 is out of our memory?
To be honest, I started talking about the future of work about two and a half years ago. And even the companies, the big brand companies looked at me like the deer in the headlights. And I was like, yeah, nice, but not interesting for us. We don't need global team leadership capabilities. We don't need flexible work environments. We don't need coaching for our leadership. And I thought, okay, you will wake up. And, COVID-19 has only fast-tracked the trends that we've seen over the last decade. To be honest, nothing is new what we're seeing. Flexible work environments, working from home, more technology is part of our everyday lives. We've seen it coming. Companies who have turned a blind eye on the changes that are about to have hit us, they are now in a tricky situation to quickly pivot their business and get them ready for what we call the future of work. It's more personalized, it's more individual, it's more on demand, and this is what continues to be the trend. And I don't think that when we go back to what we call normal, it's going to be the normal, what we know it. People will realize it's actually pretty cool to work from home and can fit in my personal and private commitments with my professional commitments and work around the schedule that work with my family and with my interests. They will be more engaged, and they will also demand it now from employers because they've seen that it actually can work. So this will change quite a bit. Another trend that I see, again, it's not a trend, it's already been there, the gig economy. It's going to be more on-demand supply, maybe as an employee that you say, or as a talent that you say, I can provide my expertise for a 3 months project and can solve this problem for you, rather than working for you ongoing and in a full-time capacity. And also companies are reaching out more to specialists to help them solve a certain problem, and then get out again, because they save on their fixed costs, on their overheads, on the risks that they're taking, and they're getting experts in that may charge a little bit more, but long term it's much cheaper.
Isn't it interesting, Petra? What COVID-19 is actually doing is giving us a crash course in having flexible workspaces. Excite Media this year started doing a 4-day work week, and we've been just loving it. It's great for the staff. We've been able to follow our own dreams. We've been able to find those rest points that we need, but still working hard, still doing incredible work on behalf of the clients. But what I'm noticing now is that both employees are having to adapt how they look after themselves at home, how they set up a home office, how they look after relationships and children and taking care of schooling. And then on the other side, we've got the employers saying, I have no choice. I need to adapt to this model to help my staff help me. So there's been that crash course, but there's going to be some positives come out of that, isn't there?
100%. As I said, people feel more empowered to look after their own day on their terms and don't feel rushed. They have to be at work at a certain time and have to contribute to these meetings. I also see that meetings are going to be called quite a bit. It's not just the unnecessary coffee catch-ups that don't go anywhere, but we are now catching up with a purpose. So that's going to change. Also, the commute to and from work, it's often 10 minutes to 2 hours each way. That is cut down. So we have got more time to do something that we enjoy doing, which comes back to the happiness again. But what I definitely see is a big challenge for leaders. They have not adjusted to leading remote teams, and often the focus is on the low performers. The ones who need this little kick in the butt, rather than on the high performers. And they often get left alone. They're not getting checked in. And if you feel you're actually not valued, even though it's not the intention often, it's more, well, they are good on their own. They know what they do. They are going to be disengaged long-term and going to leave the company. So we see quite a bit of a change coming, what I can tell from staff, how leaders can retain their staff.
It's going to be interesting. We need to realize it's not just about the whip, it's about the encouragement, the praise, the communication, and using these channels. Petra, I wanted to talk very briefly about the fact that we've got a great website that people can go to connect with you. And you and I both take a lot of value out of LinkedIn as well. So that's another area that people can get hold of both of us. But the 360talent.co website, who would you like to visit that? Who are you looking for as far as potential customers?
Anyone in a business working with teams and people. So basically, we're preparing people for the future of work in the context of a business to help them reinvent their careers within a business. And we've seen now that teams are getting cut in half or reduced to a minimum, which means that the ones who are left, who are staying in a company, need to readjust their role. How can you manage the transition easily? The same with leaders. How can they now lead global and remote teams better and more productive? Also, social media is going to be a massive part. As you just said, LinkedIn, perfect way to communicate what you are all about. We live now in a world of transparency because we don't have the actual face-to-face interaction as such. So I would highly recommend any leader who wants to step up. It's now the time to do it. Become visible, get onto social media, share what you're learning, share what you know, share who you know, because this will have a big positive impact long-term on your brand.
Now, that's an interesting point you raise. We were talking earlier about the fact that we should concentrate on brands, not careers or companies. Can you just elaborate on that a little?
Yes, absolutely. This is, it came from my personal experience that I built my career on one profession, being a marketing manager at FMCG. But this is a fact. This, so many other people can compete with that. There is no extra benefit. So what I did over, the last 6-7 years now is basically I built a brand. A brand is more than just a profession, a career, or an industry. It's attributes that people are associated with you. And this helps you to pivot into any directions that are of interest. So when we say you want to be known as the go-to person for when you need everything done in detail, or you want to be the go-to person that always brings joy to the teams. This is now, transferable skills that can be applied to any industry or any profession without the technical expertise as such, because people can learn and pick up anything if they've got the attitude towards it and the approach towards learning. But the personality, this is exactly what you can use to your advantage and stand out from others.
One of the great things that Petra does in giving back is through meetups. Now, if you're looking at personal development for yourself, if you're looking at how to network in your local area, whether it's Brisbane, Southeast Queensland, anywhere in the world, then go to the meetup site and start looking for meetups that are relevant to your industry or to the skill sets that you're hoping to invest in, and encourage you to look up digital innovations and the future of work. That's where you'll find Petra's meetup. Petra, you've started some modules this week. I believe one course is underway, another one ready to go, and you're only asking $10 for people to invest in themselves. Can you just give us an overview of this new course and modules that you've put out?
Yeah, absolutely. So my motto is success comes down to the speed of implementation. And because of the last couple of weeks, I was inundated with requests from people who've lost their jobs or who want to use this opportunity to reinvent themselves, but not sure where to go because everything is so uncertain. I decided on Tuesday that I will do something that's available for the broad masses, because my one-on-one coaching is quite expensive, to be honest, and it's not for everyone. So I thought, how can I make it streamlined? And on Tuesday, lunchtime, I put out to my email list and on my social media that I will do a beta test for reinventing careers, and it's going to be a 5 weeks online course. Whoever's interested, come and join me for 5 weeks. And I had a full house starting on a Thursday morning, and because we've got a waiting list now, I'll start another beta test on Monday next week, a nighttime class, and everyone can also join just for the modules. So everything, is we are going to develop as we go, that it's most relevant, most recent, and also most valuable for participants.
It's interesting that in the main, meetup has normally been in-person business networking or education development, but everybody's going online with meetup, so a great opportunity right now to use this time wisely. Well, Petra, I want to say thank you very much for joining us on The Morning Kick, and I encourage people to connect with her meetup group, her website, but also look up Petra on LinkedIn. Petra Zink, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great weekend.
Well, it's been fantastic to have Petra as part of the program, and she's a real innovator. I encourage you to follow her on LinkedIn, where you'll find great posts, great information, and somebody who actually knows what's happening as far as directing the future of work. Now, the next thing that we wanted to do was just remind you about the Thrival plan, which has been getting some great downloads, and we've had some more encouragement coming to us over the last few days. We just did an email out to a number of Excite Media clients, and the downloads are starting to happen there. But simply go to excitemedia.com.au/thrive, nice and easy, and you'll be able to get yourself a free copy. It's a Google Doc. So it's nice and easy to download and share with your friends, but it's full of good ideas to work on your business right now. Little ideas that you can implement, things that you can do in the future, checklists for you to go through and say, where can I improve, reduce, or basically grow my business? And we're available to do a free call or a free online meeting with you if you'd like some guidance. But please feel free to share it. It's just part of the way we're trying to help during COVID-19. Well, it's been great to have you on The Morning Kick. Petra was brilliant. Please share the video, and we'll see you next week.